And hey, everybody, it's Greg, Detroit's Love Guru. Got a special guest, Mocha, with me here. She's going to say hello in a minute. We're going to be talking about Valentine's Day and holiday hyped up stuff. Are you into the hype? And, of course, we got to talk about interrelational relationships, okay? That coffee bagel type aspect going on. So pay attention. It's going to be a riot. We'll be right with you in just a minute. Take care with the Art of Relationships show as my voice cracks. Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is the Art of Relationship show as my voice is going through puberty again today. I want to welcome Mocha. I'm going to let her introduce herself, and then we're going to talk about Valentine's Day, hyped up or not. Are you into the hype? Or other holidays as well. And then we're going to kick it off in the interrelational dating, relationships, and marriage and aspect as I'm tripping over my tongue as normal. So, join the chat discussion down below on Facebook, YouTube, people. And here is Mocha. Hit people up with what you do and, you know what, where people can find you as well for your podcast.
Well, thank you, Greg. I'm happy to be here. How's everybody doing today? Happy Wednesday. My name is Mocha. I am a radio podcast host. I am an author. I'm also a designer, which most people don't know about. My podcast is on Anchor, and it's on several different platforms. It's called Drop the Mic with Mocha, all one word. And I can be heard on multiple streams. And my content is very, very controversial, so beware.
I love the controversy, and we'll get into that. How many people, frown upon interrelational dating, when you're dating outside your race or that. I mean, we even talked about not only that. I know in the black culture community, being a same-sex relationship might be even more taboo than it is in the white culture type aspect. So we're going to get into those elements. And now I want to know, Mocha, what is your take on Valentine's Day? You're a woman, I'm assuming, right? Do you like Valentine's Day? Do you like all the hoo-hoo-hoo, the hype? Do you like to be spoiled? Do you like to be, Valentine's Day, so you best, I'm being bougie, you best spoil me. Is that you?
Not at all. I am completely opposite. I care nothing about not one single holiday. I'm the type of person that love should be celebrated every day. And so every day is Valentine's Day. Every day is Christmas. Every day is a new. It's not a new year, but it's a new day. So it's the same thing for me. So I do not get caught up, in the hype of, well, today you're supposed to do this, and today you're supposed to do that. That's another form to me of indoctrination. So no, I have no emotional attachment to that whatsoever.
Now, I am going to, this is also, I can, get the recording of the show, just so that doesn't come back and bite you in the booty, Mocha. Not at all. So it comes back, a lot of, I never said that. I got proof right here. Greg's got proof that you said that, and I love it. And I love a lot of women that, let's face it, I'm a romantic. You got to be connected. You're not going to be romantic with everybody, of course not. And, I like a little bit, maybe years ago, the Valentine's Day, Sweetest Day, whatever, little, special occasions. But I agree with you 100%, Mocha, and I promote this with couples. What do you do on a daily basis to show each other that you love each other? It doesn't have to be grandiose. It can be, little things, a little love note. Hey, you're beautiful, spank you later, whatever. Or are you able to look at, you're beautiful, I love you, man, you're my man, woman, lady of my dreams. I'm glad you're with me. Thank you, man. I don't know what I did, but I did something right. Those type of elements. And again, it's not the right or wrong element. It's looking at what works for you. So I love what you said, Mocha. And Now, we can look at, how many people do you know are into the holiday hype? You know what? You better not just spend $100 on me. You better spend $1,000 on me. It's Valentine's Day, right?
Yeah, I know tons of people who are caught up in the hype. They're just caught up in the illusion. They're caught up in the placebo effect of what a person is supposed to do on this particular time of on this day, this particular time of the year. I don't feel any kind of way towards people who do indulge in it because, of course, to each their own.
Absolutely.
To give a different perspective. I think people use these days to kind of sweep up under the rug a lot of the things that they don't deal with daily. The holidays come and then, they sweep up. This is the time now to say, hey, look, we're happy. And it's kind of like you can see that it's not authentic, that it's, I think I lost my call coming in. Okay.
Uh-oh. No, that's all right. Yeah. No, that helps you. And sometimes I know some people put it on like airplane mode or whatever.
That's what I should have done.
And no, you're fine. No, you're fine. And I tell, people, I have no idea if I don't have an iPhone. I have the better phone, Android. So no, I joke. People, iPhone users. But looking at those elements, and I know there's a lot of people you look at, and I joke around about people, women being bougie, or, I deserve this, I'm entitled to that. But I also look at what are you doing to, if you want to say entitled or deserve that love or that special attention, what are you doing to show it and give it? And a lot of people, I see it on a daily basis that, it's all about me. What am I getting? What am I not getting? Those type of elements. And in your circle, and even if you talk about this on your podcast, what do you run into? Do you find a lot of women, let's face it, women and men? I don't get into gender differences that much because I think there's a lot of similarities. But when it comes to Valentine's Day and the holidays, be it Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever, and do you find a lot of people?
I'm having a technical difficulty because now I can't hear because I had it was the phone. I don't know if I can do airplane mode. Am I able to come back and reconnect?
Yeah, you can do that. Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm going to leave and then I'm going to come back because that just kind of.
Yep. Cool. So, okay, she's going to come back a little bit in a tech difficulty on her end. So I'm going to continue. And looking at how many women out there, and maybe men, that believe that there should be because of a certain holiday, it should be, that you're entitled or deserving just because you're a woman or you're a man. And I want to look at those elements to where, can I go ahead and, what are you doing to deserve that? And I ask people all the time, not only holiday aspects, like, Mocha was saying myself, about looking at what am I doing on a daily basis to show my person that, I love them, I desire them, I crave them. And am I actually doing, what is important to them? Am I showing them, they can talk to me about everything, or we get in a argument or a conversation or a debate or whatever, there's no resolve. It's always rinse and repeat. It's always the same thing. One person's shutting down, one person's yelling, screaming, and then it's like a day, 2 days later, like nothing ever happened. And one person or both people, you're feeling like it is not, what do I want to say? You get into the element to where, I'm not heard. I'm not paid attention to. I don't, my partner doesn't feel like they really understand me. They don't even care to understand me. And then all of a sudden, Valentine's Day comes up and, I expect to get this or that and get showered and spoiled with love. And you're looking like, the day before, we weren't even connecting, but yet you want, so it gets very confusing for a lot of people when it comes for the holidays, especially when we're dealing with the situation. I'm going to bring Mocha. Hey, Mocha. Mocha's back on. Back on. And I was talking about Mocha, a little bit about, how many people when there's issues in a relationship, and like you talked about on a daily basis, you don't feel connected. You get into arguments, and it's all of a sudden like it never happened. A day, 2 days later, and there's no connection, there's no resolve. But then, say Valentine's Day comes up, and you're like, oh, I'm supposed to be loved and showered with love and affection and attention, gifts, whatever. And you're like, huh? What? We weren't even feeling connected for a long time. And now, you know, a holiday, Valentine's Day, Christmas, whatever, comes up. And all of a sudden you want me to shower you with love or gifts or attention and all that aspect when, dang, we don't even like each other. So do you run into that a lot in your circle?
Oh my, do I? What? Come on. Yeah.
Hit me up. Be real.
Let me tell you, I see it constantly. And they don't like when you call them out, but I tell people, you know, people can see your lie. You know, you can't see that other people can see your lie, but, you know, people forget that, you know, you're on social media, but people know you personally.
Yes.
You know, and then outside of that, you know, it's a lot of people that that's the only time you really see them appear to you know, have something special is during a holiday. They feel like they need to magnify that. You know, now I did a episode with a guy from North South Carolina. He said there's two types of people. There's people who's genuinely happy in these times, and then there's people who's trying to pretend to be happy around this time. You know, and so the people who's pretending, you know, I think people see that. We see your lie.
You can read through that. And I talk about, and this relates perfectly to I did an episode, I can't remember, 2 episodes ago about not being fake in the dating realm and coming out with persona, pretending to be one thing, and then let's face it, another, you know, down the road, that ain't really you. You know, you tend to be nice, romantic, and then the other person treats you like crap, like shit. And it's not a right or wrong. It's looking at why you being fake and how many people you're miserable, but during, you know, you're out in public or Valentine's Day, a holiday, and everything's all copacetic and kumbaya, and you think everything's great. And I get, you know, you don't want anybody in your business. I get about that. But it comes to why are you being fake for one day? Because it's a holiday, right?
Yeah. You know, my perception of that is, you know, people don't want people in their business. But it's like, well, keep your lie to yourself then. Because people are going to see that and people are going to respond to that. And I think a lot of people that go through that, they avoid healing. They're avoid, oh my goodness, what in the heck is going on? I think I'm taking this on my phone, and then I'm keep getting these spam calls.
Oh no, that's
jacking
fine.
Up the sound.
Yeah. There's that's okay,
Mocha. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I don't know how these calls are even getting through.
No, you're fine. And there's a echo on your end. I know people are saying something about an echo, so I don't know if you might have to shut your speaker or mute your speaker off. I don't know if you'd be able to hear. You might not be able to hear me then. So forget about it.
I can hear you. Okay, let me see.
We'll keep going.
I can't. You sound like you're on a payphone from Philadelphia now.
Oh, really? I was going to payphone. You're dating yourself. I can't even remember what a payphone looks like. Yeah, I'm lying. But no, we'll continue. You're fine. And, you know, looking at, and so I don't know, it could be connections, whatever, but I have, I don't even want to say how much money I spent on this setup. But anyways, going back into the element about, you know, the holiday aspect. And I know a lot of women as well that they don't, you know, it's not a big deal to them. And I'll challenge, are you lying to me? You know, is it a big deal? But I agree. You know, what are you doing to show each other that you love each other, you adore, cherish, desire each other on a daily basis? Or, you know, I always say nothing is perfect, nothing's 24/7. But what are you doing to show them, you know, you love each other, and all of a sudden it ain't there, and then one day out of the year you're like, oh, perfect and everything else, and then the day's over and it goes back to rinse and repeat, and then there's no connection, there's no desire, there's no respect for one another, and it's like, was that just fake? And I'm not about being fake.
They don't heal. They don't heal. A lot of people come into relationships because they're trauma bonded. And a lot of people don't even recognize that this is what their connection is. And so they try to mend these relationships and keep these relationships, hold on to them, and they end up going through 10 years of misery, only to wait until specific times of the year to give an illusion or to feel like, oh, well, this is about love. And families do it too. It's not just, romantic relationships. Families do it. They don't like each other all year round. Yep. And all of a sudden, well, Christmas and Thanksgiving is about love. Well, every day is about that.
And we're I love you, I miss you. And you're like, what? And I'm not, and me, I'm like, why are you fronting with me? Why are you pretending? I haven't talked to you in a while, whatever. You act like you don't like me. So why now? What's this off, putting on a persona and, being fake about it? I'm all about people being authentic and being real and being genuine on an everyday basis, man. And, family, friends, whatever, we all have people, even though it's family, we don't connect with, okay? So why be disingenuous? And it's the holidays, you should be nice, you should be polite, respectful, be loving. And I'm like, why is that? I'm like, why are you being fake,
Indoctrination. A lot of that comes from indoctrination.
You know what? I love it. It's society, family, how we're raised, you name it, right? Now, what are you doing for Valentine's Day, Mocha?
I'll probably be working. I'll probably be working, because it's just another day to me.
Yeah.
I learned at some point in my journey to practice self-love on a daily basis, And there's no important relationship more important than the relationship you develop with yourself. People don't want to hear that. The concept sounds bogus to them. It's like, but who wants to be by themselves? Well, if you don't want to be by yourself, why do you think somebody else want to be with you? You don't even want to be with you.
No.
And people don't realize in order to have a healthy relationship with somebody else, you have to learn how to be or have a relationship with you. What is it that you don't like about you? What is it that you need to change about you? What are the things you need to learn and elevate about yourself so that when you do choose to get in a relationship, you understand how to connect with a healed person so that you can have a healed, happy relationship instead of trying to fight through all of the trauma, the childhood trauma, to trying to fight through, all of the damage that's been done to you that you've never faced and dealt with. People bring those things into relationships, and you have two different types of people from different backgrounds and upbringings trying to bring all of that into a relationship. You're going to set yourself up for a lifetime of drama and trauma and problems.
Mocha, I hear you, and I agree, and I promote that on a daily basis, big time. And a lot of people, let's face it, even getting away from the holiday aspects is about you're looking at, everybody assumes, okay, my childhood traumas, getting raped, sexual abuse, whatever, getting raised in a crap environment, and all of a sudden, somebody's going to rescue me from that, and be responsible for my triggers and all that. And I tell people, you know what? Our triggers are our own. They're our own responsibility. That doesn't mean our partner can't be compassionate, caring, understanding about that, but they're not responsible about that. It's like, you cheated on me, Mocha. Therefore, my next lady, I'm going to take it out on her. And, you're going to cheat on me. You're this. All women are. No, you need to heal that. And I love what you said, Mocha, as far as you need to be able to start loving yourself and looking at what's going on. And some people, you know what? They don't want to be alone. That's a lot worse. And I look at, why is that scary? Would you rather be in a relationship that's toxic, that's crap, than being alone? And some people would rather have that. It's not a judgment. It's looking at, I want to challenge people. Why would you want that? Why would you want to be in that situation? Again, some people would rather deal with that than be alone because they can't look in the mirror and deal with their own stuff. I hear you.
Yeah. It's an avoidance. It's an avoidance issue. They want to avoid the responsibility of having to see themselves, of having to see their own toxicity. A lot of people like to blame, you're toxic. You did this to me, and that's why I did that. You did. No. Because if you were healed, you would not have even entertained this kind of energy in the first place. But people do not. The hardest thing to do is to tell a person to see themselves, because then they get cognitive dissonance when you're talking to them about that.
Very much.
They don't even connect with what you're saying to them. They won't digest it. It
They
goes
can't-
right back to what somebody else has done.
They can't relate. Now, let me ask you, and I'm gonna get. Oh, this is gonna get juicy in a minute. And then we're gonna transition into interracial relationships, marriages, and dating. But I want to know: do you think more women own what they do in a relationship,
Absolutely not.
or men?
Absolutely not. I think that it has nothing to do with the sex of a person at all. Either a person is ready to deal with themselves or they're not. That has nothing, it's an individual thing. And it has nothing to do, with the battle of the sexes. And that's
agree.
another form of avoidance, self-avoidance. Men don't do this, women do this. So everybody is blaming somebody for everything, but nobody is saying, hey, let me see what I do. Let me stop looking at the rest of the world. Let me stop looking at the Europeans. Let me stop looking at the Africans. Let me stop looking at the Asians. Let me figure out where I need to look in the mirror.
And how many people have that strength, right?
They won't do, they fight that.
I hear
Tooth and nail.
It's ironic, and I get away from, people that know me, when I taught college students, whatever, clients, they know me. I'm not into a lot of gender stereotypes, and I see a lot of people, they don't own what they do, they justify, right? Well, I was right to cheat on you, I was right to do this, I'm justified. And I'm like, what? You're just right to feel what you do, right? You're justified to feel what you feel, but what you do on that is up to you and you only. Nobody else made you go out and cheat, made you make that decision to go out and cheat or whatever, you made me punch you in the mouth. No, hell no. And it's, if people own their own stuff, oh my God, it'd be a lot better. It'd be so much better in relationships, society as a whole, and the world as a whole, right? Now, let's talk about dating outside your race or culture. Now, are you into white guys? Like short, bald?
I think that's a trick question, Greg. That's a trick question. Well, if he's handsome and he's good to me, that could be,
Don't be, look at her. You're trying to be politically correct now. Hilarious. Now you're being politically correct, right? I know there's women of all likes and sizes aren't into short, bald dudes. I'm like, whatever. I'll climb that ladder. So anyways, when you come into that, interracial, and especially being in Detroit, it's a huge melting pot, a huge, Black African-American community, Muslim community, Indian, it's a wide potpourri of people. What creates a lot of problems that you see? And I'll share, what I run into too.
I see a lot of interracial relationships. I do. Even though it's a worldwide issue, because of the colorism history, I do see a lot. I have an interracial family, so it's kind of difficult for me not to see things the way that I see it, because I see it from both sides of the spectrum.
Yes.
Being that I look the way that I look, and I'm in the community that I'm in, But I do see a lot of interracial relationships, and the ones that I've seen have been some of the most respectable relationships that I can say. I haven't seen the ones that I've experienced, have a lot of the back and forth issues. Now, what I will say in the Black community, that because of the way the Black community has been strategically structured to see themselves,
yes,
plays a big part in why the issues become a matter of discussion or a matter of resentment in the Black community. There's a lot of resentment in a lot of ways. Then you look at the history of why it's like that, and then you go back to maybe the miscegenation laws, the history of such harshness of people not it being a law that, interracial couples couldn't be together.
Right, absolutely.
So there's a lot of trauma that comes along with that as far as the Black community is concerned when it comes to interracial marriage and interracial dating. So there is a lot of resentment within my community because of those reasons.
No, and I get, and it's ironic here, and I think it's, pretty much all over, and we know it's worse in certain areas of the country, in the world, let's face it, right? And even in the Black community, there's even, darker skin, lighter skin, that facet going on as well in the Black community. And see here, I see a lot of people that they try to force, instead of learning each other what works for both of them, they try to force feed each other's cultures down each other's throats. I see a lot of that. And I see a lot of people, they'll sit there, in front of me and, they'll talk, it should be, I'm all open. I'm all about this. But then I hear one of them, you just told me you're open to this, but what the hell is going on? And not only that, it's harder, but you have the influence of the family aspects, right? You have one family that might be very supportive. You have the other family that, oh, hell no, you ain't dating a Black guy or you ain't dating a white girl. And you have that aspect about, let's face it, in the Black community, and let's face it, you'd know more about that than I would as far as how many Black women get really upset and hurt and pissed and angry if a good, nice Black guy is dating a white woman. And it's, there's a lot of depth that goes into it. And I'm all about, I don't care what size, color, creed, whatever. I'm all about love is love. That's what I promote. And I even have, I have even, if people can see it, stop hate, tattooed on my arm. So I'm all about that. And what do you see? Do you see a lot of people in, maybe you can share, where are you located at? You can say the state. You don't have to get, so you don't have any stalkers. Huh?
I'm in the glove. I'm in Michigan.
You are in Michigan.
Cold Michigan.
I thought, I'm in a sweater. I thought you were actually down south in Georgia, Atlanta. I'm like, I'm in a sweater, freezing my ass off.
I keep my heat on hell, Greg. I'm a Caribbean girl. I don't like the cold.
Nice.
I like the heat.
Nice. So okay, you're in the glove too. So even around, so you're very familiar with the same area. So looking at those elements about what do you find when people talk smack about other people in interracial relationships and culture? And I could tell, there's people that don't even talk and they disown their daughter, their sons for, like Indian or Muslim that ends up wanting to marry or be with a Black guy or a Black woman, Muslim or white. And there's families that, let's face it, they disown their kids for doing that. And it just let's face it, it pisses me off. And
I can tell you from my experiences of being on both sides of the spectrum,
please.
That I have such a melting pot of a family. There are different aspects to why the Black society may frown upon it. It's because of the dehumanization they've endured for so long. Of feeling like, of being told they weren't good enough to date outside or date white women. It was the killings and the lynching. Black men dealing with white women, or if a white woman says, hey, this person, he whistled at me. I mean, look at Emmett Till. This boy had his face blown off because a white woman lied on him.
Yes.
This is the history of that, and you have to realize that coming from this end of the spectrum, it played a huge society in why social status is important to our people and why it's so frowned upon. But it's becoming an issue even in the Black community, again, with colorism, with light skin, dark skin. Even in Puerto Rican or Latin communities, same thing, light skin, dark skin. But then you look at the other side of the spectrum. Why is it being frowned upon? Well, it's been frowned upon on the other side of the spectrum because of development of a dominant repressive syndrome that this is better than you. So this is why we're mad that you because we're better. And on the other end, it's, well, we're mad because of all the things we've had to endure. Why would we want to come over there? It's no trust here, you know? So we see that as, you know, sleeping with the enemy. And this is why it's frowned upon, but the men frown upon it just as much as the women do in the black culture.
Oh, I know that. I know. As you know, well, maybe you don't know, but I mean, most people, and I promote this, I tell about it, 80 to 83% of my couples and clients in general are black, African American. And I joke, what are you doing here? It's a white thing, right? And I love people of color, reaching out and getting help. And I love it. I'm like, woohoo. But, with the dating aspects, and we know, what is it, dating apps, and I actually should get a sponsor fee. There's coffee meets bagel, or bagel meets coffee. There's, interracial dating sites and all that aspect. And I'm like, you know what? You're attracted to who you're attracted to. Why should it matter? But it goes deep. Like you just mentioned, you spoke a lot of truths about, black men might look at a white woman and all of a sudden get lynched and get killed and, whipped. And
yeah, there's
it's
a
devastating.
Very deep, dark, ugly, poisonous, traumatizing history.
Yes.
And a lot of people would like to look at that as something that's just flat on the surface, and it's just not that black and white to say, well,
no.
Black people don't like when black women get mad and jealous. It's not a jealousy. It's more of a traumatization that we've both had to endure as people of color.
There you go.
We've had to see our fathers hang from trees, our brothers. We've had to bury our sons because of this issue.
Yes.
And so now you would think that as ethnicity or a group of people that you would say, we have to stick together. We have to learn how to love each other. We have to learn how to love each other. It got so bad to where there was a syndrome called the paper bag effect.
Yes.
And the fraternities, that you had to match the color of a paper bag to get into the fraternity.
Yes.
Or if you were darker than this paper bag, you got turned away. And these were also people of color that were going by these standards.
Absolutely.
And this is how it has affected and caused so much trauma, poisonous mental illness, and toxic traits in our community as a people that we have made ourselves, we've turned to each other and made ourselves, we dehumanize one another. We humiliate one another. And it does get to a place, where it starts to reflect back to the, the European community. And then it becomes a battle of races. It goes from the battle of the sexes to the battle of the races.
Yep.
And so it's definitely a legacy of dehumanization and dominant repressive syndrome issues that has caused this.
Absolutely.
This gap between,
and it's sad. And I like to think it's getting better, and I think it has, but there's still some big issues out there about, cultural differences and about the acceptance of two people love each other, and that's all that should matter. And that's, that's what I promote. That's a big thing. And I would love it for other people to promote that as well. And I get that, it's not a right or wrong. And I get, staying, within your culture, especially, with the, black community and people, other minorities, that, it's about, what we're not good enough because of this or that, because of the cultural syndromes that have happened throughout the beginning of time, let's face it. And, is it about a good enough thing, better than this or whatever, or that you just love a certain person? What would you advise people of different color dating?
I would tell them to understand the history of each other's culture, because this is the only way you understand. There's no way that a person who's coming from a different continent to America with more European features would have to experience a lot of the same things that me, who is an Aboriginal here, has had to endure.
Yes.
So they won't understand, why I don't want my child going to this school learning certain things like Christopher Columbus discovered America. Well, that's a lie. They're
It
not
is a
teaching
lie.
people that in the Middle East.
No.
You know, they're teaching our children do not learn the same thing as European children or as Asian children or Chinese children or Japanese children. Their structure in the educational system is completely different from the way that they do our children. You know,
Absolutely.
there's a difference, but a person who hasn't experienced that type of cultural difference, they would think that I was, you know, crazy. Like, well, no, I don't think the educational system is different. Well, of course you don't, because you haven't endured it. You haven't had to deal with it.
It is.
You look at eugenics.
So what would,
You know?
and I want to, and you know, I agree. Look at each other's, not only educate each other on your culture, race, and you know, there's differences in so many. But looking at, you know, my advice to people, you know, you love each other, be with each other, and also be, you know, a beacon for other people, and about, you know, you love each other. And looking at, let's be real though, you have to look at, if you don't get that family support or the friend support and you dog each other out, are you able to stay together? And let's face it, it rips people apart. And, you know, trying to be loyal to your family, friends, whatever, instead of each other. So there's a lot of things you have to look at from a personal and a professional level that I promote, as far as looking at these elements and what are you doing to stay tight? Because a lot of people, you have to endure probably more issues than most other people that are of the same race, culture, whatever, right? And you get people, well, that's why you date within your own race, religion, culture, whatever. Because it's easier. You relate to each other. That doesn't mean you're going to be happy to each other, okay?
Exactly.
So one little thing before we say goodbye is looking at, going back to the holiday, the Valentine's aspect, right? How would you teach your partner to love you and to show you they care about you on a daily basis, Mocha?
I would be the example. I would lead by example. You know, he may come home from work one day and I may have a cake with some balloons just because, you know, and a nice gift or something. And it's like, you know, he may be getting ready to come over because he had a hard day at work or having some other issues and get surprised with that. And it's like, wait a minute, what did I do to deserve this? Well, I love you. You just you. That's what you did.
I
just
love
being
it.
You know, and that stuff like that goes so, I mean, it can definitely, sort of speak, heat fiery coals upon a person's head. It can teach a person things about you that they may see within themselves, because I feel like people who entertain each other's energy, they mirror each other. And so you want to be the reflection of what you want to see in your partner. And if that doesn't work, then maybe you should go back to the drawing board. That might not be for you.
Right. Or you gotta advocate what is important to you. And we talk about, you know, communication is huge on that. Look at what is important to you, how you want to be loved, how you want to be desired, how you want to be, you know, what's important to you, because what's important to me might not be important to you. And I know for me, you know, appreciation is huge for a lot of people also, but, you know, being heard, being listened to. Do you understand that it's not only, you know, things affect you, but life and things affect me as well. And how do you be there for each other, okay? Mocha, please let people know where they can find you, about your show, your podcast and everything, okay? And let them know, and we'll say goodbye to everybody.
Okay, you guys can find me on Anchor. I'm on Spotify.
Anchor.fm, right?
Yes, I am. Or you can just Google me in the search engine and I'll pop up wherever they play me. It's Drop the Mic with Mocha, all one word. That's DropTheMicMocha, all one word. Drop the Mic with Mocha. But I want to warn you, you go to my podcast, you're going to hear some controversial things.
Awesome. You need to. You need to. Well, I'm going to say goodbye and I'm going to chime out and we'll talk soon, okay?
Thank you,
Thanks,
Greg, for
Mocha.
having me. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Talk to you soon. Peace. Okay. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching the Art of Relationship show. I definitely appreciate everybody chiming in and tuning in. And I know we talk about, you know, the holiday season. What are you doing to show each other that you love each other on a daily basis instead of just once a year? You know, people are probably going to assume this, right? It sounds easy. But as we go day to day, it is not easy, it's very, very difficult. And you look at, okay, what am I doing to show each other instead of just one day I feel loved or I'm going to pay you attention because it's Valentine's Day, okay? And they're looking at you like, what? I'm not even connected. And one thing about me, people, I cannot be fake at all. If I don't feel it, if I'm not into that person or whatever on an emotional, physical level, that type of aspect, I can't fake it for one day. That's not me. I'm not going to fake it, okay? So how many people just go through the motions, or maybe you look at things differently, that one day that you try to fake it or go through the motions, that will trigger maybe further good things and trigger a new thing. I'm all about that, trying it, okay? But be legit, be genuine. And when it comes to interracial dating and all that stuff, you know what? You love who you love. You go after that. But there's a lot of aspects and a lot of issues you need to talk about and to go after it, okay? Because some families, some friends are going to give you a lot of slack about it. Communities, depending what area you are in the country, right? So I'm all about love. Love is love, has no color basis whatsoever, okay? Check out the Art of Relationships show every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern time. I definitely appreciate everybody tuning in, okay? theartofrelationships.org. Check out my website, YouTube, Facebook. You know the routine. Like, subscribe, and peace to everybody out there. Take care.